Hare Krishna. Somehow some technical problem. Hare Krishna. So today is the disappearance of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, and I was hoping to project my laptop to read something from Chaitanya Charitamrita, but I guess. Yeah, maybe we can pull up from Veda base here directly on the TV, maybe. Okay. Okay, so we'll start by singing Jai Anilo Premadhana. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Jai Anilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur. Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. Kaha mora swarup rupa Kaha sanata. Kaha dasa raghunatha patita pavan. Kaha mora bata juga, kaha kavira. Eka kale kota Gela Gaurana Tara. Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo. Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo. Sesaba Sangira Sange Ye Koilo Bila. Sesanga na paya kande norotamada. Jaya nilo prema dhana karuna prachur. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Prabhuji, could you open Veda base? Adi Lila. So we'll be reading a section from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we are in Adi Lila. Adi Lila chapter 8, and we'll read from text number 33. Adi Lila chapter 8, text number 33. Okay, so before we start, we'll recite the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanati Mirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. It's not opening on the Veda. 8, yeah, chapter 8. Chapter number 8 and text 33. Yeah. 33. Shri Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. So we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami again and again he offers his respects to Vrindavan Das Thakur. Right? So I'm going to read one section from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 8, text number 33, and up to text 42. These few verses, he really glorifies Vrindavan Das Thakur and glorifies the book and the Vrindavan Das Thakur's main contribution, which is the Chaitanya Bhagavat, which was previously known as Chaitanya Mangala. Okay? So we'll read text 33. And if you like, you can join me in reading the Bengali. Ore muda loka shuna chaitanya mangala chaitanya mahima yate jani be sakala. Translation. O fools, just read Sri Chaitanya Mangal. By reading this book, you can understand all the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purport. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat was originally entitled Sri Chaitanya Mangala. But when Srila Lochan Das Thakur later wrote another book named Chaitanya Mangala, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur changed the name of his own book, which is now therefore known as Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. The life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very elaborately described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami has already informed us that in his Chaitanya Charitamrita he has described whatever Vrindavan Das Thakur has not mentioned. This acceptance of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami indicates his acceptance of the disciplic succession. A writer of transcendental literature never tries to surpass the previous acharyas. So first point here we see is how the book Vrindavan Das Thakur written was known as Chaitanya Mangal before, but because Lochan Das Thakur wrote a book with the same name, he actually changed his name to Chaitanya Bhagavat. And as I was thinking, it's so interesting that the name got changed to Chaitanya Bhagavat because Vrindavan Das Thakur is non-different than Vyasadeva, who actually compiled the Bhagavatam. So you see the connection is so nice there, right? And then here in this purport, Prabhupada is making the point that Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is actually elaborating in the Chaitanya Charitamrita what Vrindavan Das Thakur has not mentioned, right? So Vrindavan Das Thakur is actually a disciple of Srila Nityananda Prabhu. So when he was actually writing Chaitanya Bhagavat, we'll just call it Chaitanya Bhagavat now, then his focus was more on the pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu because he's a spiritual master, right? And also, if you see the difference between Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, you see Adi Lila ends when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes initiation. Madhya Lila ends when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas. And then the Anta Lila is after his sannyas. Right? So there's a lot of emphasis on his childhood pastimes in Chaitanya Bhagavat, and also his pastimes until the point of sannyas. Right? But if you see, and then because the book was getting very voluminous, then Lochan Das Thakur did not elaborately explain the pastimes after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Right? So Adi Lila up to initiation, Madhya Lila up to sannyas, and then beyond that, Antya Lila. But if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, the childhood pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is only 4 chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So up to chapter number 14 of Adi Lila is basically explaining the tattva of the Pancha Tattva. And then 15, and then he talks of the branches of the Chaitanya tree. But then after just like, I think 3 chapters, 17, 18, 19. There's a childhood pastime, he just completes everything until Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami in these 3 chapters, one way he actually summarized Adi Lila and Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Bhagavat. And he's focused more on the pastimes after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So we see that how Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is basically he's saying that what Vrindavan Das Thakur did not mention, that's what I'm elaborating in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And also Prabhupada makes an interesting point here. The acceptance of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami indicates his acceptance of the disciplic succession. A writer of transcendental literature never tries to surpass the previous acharya. So can anyone think of any example where we see that someone has surpassed the previous acharya or tried to surpass the previous acharya? From Chaitanya Charitamrita, I was thinking of one particular example. There's this example in Antya Lila where Vallabha Bhatt, he actually writes a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he comes to, and he wants to read that commentary to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not want to accept it. He doesn't want to hear the commentary. And Gadadhar Pandit, because he's very soft-hearted, he was forced to hear. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept. And he actually said, because Vallabha Bhatt, actually when writing the commentary, he one way was saying that his commentary is better than the commentary of Sridhar Swami, who is the original commentator of Bhagavatam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually used a very strong word, we don't want to use here, to actually, not accept the commentary of Vallabha Bhatt. That he's trying to surpass Sridhar Swami, who is the original commentator of the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So Prabhupada is warning us that we never try to surpass the previous Acharya, and we see the mood perfectly set by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He says, I am accepting only the remnants of what Vrindavan Das Thakur has already given. Right? So he's basically saying, okay, he has given, he is the real author. Whatever he could not write because the book was becoming voluminous, I am just writing those details. Right? And this section, what we are reading in Adi Lila here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is basically saying why he actually compiled Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay? So we'll continue reading. Text 34. Are there any comments? Okay. Krishna Leela Bhagavate Kahe Veda Vyas Chaitanya Leela Ravyas Vrindavana Das. So very nice verse. Krishna Leela Bhagavata Kahe Veda Vyas. The one who's compiled Bhagavatam with the pastimes of Lord Krishna is Ved Vyas. And the Vyasdev of Chaitanya Leela is Vrindavan Das. So translation. As Vyasdev has compiled all the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, Thakur Vrindavan Das has depicted the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. 35. Vrindavan Dasa Kaile Chaitanya Mangala Janhara Shravane Nashe Sarva Amangala. So very nice. Amangala. So he says Thakur Vrindavan Das has composed Sri Chaitanya Mangala. Hearing this book annihilates all misfortune. Right? So it's so interesting that our Shastras, you consider Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mangal, they are all so auspicious, so powerful, that says if someone just gives oral reception to such literatures, all his inauspiciousness gets washed away. The similar verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Vyasdev, after that entire episode with Narad Muni, where Narad Muni came and said, what you are given is not sufficient. You have to give the essence of everything. And then when Vyasadev sat in meditation and he saw Krishna and all the avatars and Maya Devi, and then there is a verse where Vyasadev himself is glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, and he says, Yasyam vai shruya mananam Krishne parama purushe bhakti utpade pumsham shoka moha bhayapaha. This comes in first canto, 7th chapter, in text 7. Where he actually says, Yasyam vai shruya mananam. Anyone who actually shruya mananam, who just hears Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is Srimad Bhagavatam giving? Krishne parama purushe. That Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead. And what are the benefits of reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Yasyam vai shruya mananam Krishne parama purushe bhakti utpatete pumsham. So it's so interesting that saying just by reading, giving oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam, bhakti utpada. Utpada means it's almost going to sprout in our heart. It's just going to awaken in our heart just by reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And shoka, moha, bhaya, paha. So shoka means lamentation, moha, illusion, bhaya, fear, and paya. All these things will be washed away just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the glory of our literatures. So here it said that just by hearing this book, Chaitanya Bhagavat, then all our amangala will go away. All our misfortune will go away. Right? So that's why Srila Prabhupada stressed so much. Distribute these books. This is our real nectar. This is our real wealth. As soon as anyone gets this book, then all his shoka, moha, bhaya, his amangala, everything will be finished. Just these books. Let everyone get access to these books. Right? So we'll continue. Text 36. If there are any comments, please feel free to add. Okay. Chaitanya Nitayara Yate Janiya Mahima Yate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhante Rasima. By reading Sri Chaitanya Mangal, one can understand all the glories and truths of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and come to the ultimate conclusion of devotional service to Lord Krishna. So Prabhupada gives a very interesting purport in this section. For this verse, he basically, maybe we can quickly read it. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is the authoritative reference book from which to understand devotional service. But because it is very elaborate, few men can understand its purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is the original commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, which is called Nyaya Prashnan. It was written to enable one to understand the absolute truth through infallible logic and argument, and therefore its national commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam, is extremely elaborate. Right? So, there was an entire episode with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan, these Ramanandis from Jaipur area. They actually challenged Gaudiya Vaishnava, and they said, we cannot accept your philosophy because you do not have a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, on the Bhagavad Purana, right? On the Vedanta Sutra. And basically, we have Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a national commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So there is no need of a separate commentary of verse by verse commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So we accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the national commentary. But Prabhupada's point here that Srimad Bhagavatam is very elaborate, and maybe few men can understand its purport. Then Prabhupada says, professional reciters have created the impression that Srimad Bhagavatam deals with only Krishna's Ras Leela, although Krishna's Ras Leela is described only in chapters 25 to 33 of the 10th canto. They have in this way presented Krishna to the Western world as a great woman hunter, and therefore we sometimes have to deal with such misconceptions in preaching. Another difficulty is understanding Srimad Bhagavatam is that the professional reciters have introduced Bhagavad Sapta, or 7-day readings of the Bhagavatam. They want to finish Srimad Bhagavatam in a week, although it is so sublime that even one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, if properly explained, cannot be completed in 3 months. Right? And we see the reference that Prabhupada is saying this 3 months. It's described how Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, when he started giving the commentary on the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he spoke for 3 months just on the first verse, 1.1.1 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So hence Prabhupada is actually making here that even 3 months are not sufficient to actually explain every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Under these circumstances, it's a great aid for the common man to read Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, for thus he can actually understand devotional service, Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, and Nityananda. So Prabhupada is actually telling us that if you really want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, read Chaitanya Mangala. And similarly, at the starting of Srimad Bhagavatam, right, Srimad Bhagavatam, we see how Srila Prabhupada has given, briefly described the entire life of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one may say that before starting Srimad Bhagavatam, why was there a need to give the life of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? No, okay. So the way we actually explain this is, if you really want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, then you have to understand it through the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to actually say, this is how you live Srimad Bhagavatam, right? And hence, even before starting the commentary purports of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada gives the entire life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So we understand Bhagavatam through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And here Prabhupada is making the point that if you want to understand Bhagavatam, you study Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. And from that you will understand Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and through that you can really understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And then Prabhupada says, Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrika Vidhi Bina Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpadeda Utpad Yaiva Kalpate. Devotional service to the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures, the Upanishads, Puranas, Narada, Pancharatra, etc. is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. Due to misunderstanding Srimad Bhagavatam, people are misled regarding the signs of Krishna. However, by reading Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's book, one can very easily understand this science. Yes, Prabhu. Can we use a mic, I think? No. Okay.
Prabhupada would also say that Lord Chaitanya is living Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
There is no life, living.
So David Prabhu is saying that how Prabhupada used to say makes a point that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a living Bhagavata, right? And even in the verse in first canto, second chapter, Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanam. No, the one before. Yeah, Nashta Prayashu Abhedeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. In that purport, Prabhupada says Bhagavata refers to two Bhagavatas. the person Bhagavata and the book Bhagavata. Right? So Daiva Prabhu is making a very nice point that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a living Bhagavata. Right? We have the book, but we have to see the live example. And we see in entire Chaitanya Charitamrita how through the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we can actually see how to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? Okay, so Prabhupada is strongly encouraging. You want to understand Bhagavatam? Read Chaitanya Mangal or Chaitanya Bhagavatam, right? 37. Bhagavate yate bhakti siddhante rasar likhiya chena inha jani kariya uddhar. In Sri Chaitanya Mangal, later known as Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has given the conclusion and essence of devotional service by quoting the authoritative statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these two books, Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita, are so authoritative. Like we were discussing the point earlier also, that if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's like 11,000 verses. And out of those 11,000 verses, 2,000 of those verses is just references from different scriptures. Imagine 2,000. So more than 1/5 of the entire Charitamrita is either quotes from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Puranas and other scriptures. Just to make it so authentic. You know? And that's why like Prabhupada is actually saying here, Vrindavan Das Thakur has given the conclusion and essence of devotional service by quoting authoritative statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. So both Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita are written in such a way that if someone just starts reading and say like, oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you claim to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Where is the evidence? And we have the evidence because both these books refer to the Shastras, to like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, etc. Okay. 38. Chaitanya Mangala Suni Yadi Pashandi Yavana Seha Maha Vaishnava Hoya Tatakshana. It says, even if a great atheist hears Sri Chaitanya Mangala, he immediately becomes a great devotee. So here it says that Pashandi and Yavana, Yavana means a non-believer of the Vedic culture, a Pashandi, a great atheist, if they just hear this Chaitanya Bhagavat, they will become a devotee. A great Maha Bhagavat, Maha Vaishnava devotee. That is the power of the literature compiled by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. 39. Manushya Rachite Nare Aiche Grantha Dhanya Vrindavan Das Mukhe Vakta Sri Chaitanya. Another very beautiful verse. It says the subject matter of this book is so sublime that it appears that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally spoken through the writings of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. It is so nicely written, like to the point that, you know, how Chaitanya Charitamrita, 2,000 of those verses are just quotes from different Shastras. And one may wonder, how did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami write all these references? He didn't have Veda base, he didn't have Google search, okay, what is the reference for this, go back, copy, paste, and compile his book. How did he know all those 2,000 references from the verses from the different Shastras? And here it's actually, so here the verse is saying that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally spoke Chaitanya Mangal to Vrindavan Das Thakur. And Prabhupada in the purport elaborates, and he says even the point of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was an old and invalid man. How could he actually compile the Chaitanya Charitamrita unless he was directly given the message by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself? So, a little bit in the purport, I'll read from second paragraph. Transcendental literature that strictly follows the Vedic principles and the conclusion of the Puranas and Pancharatrika Vidhi can be written only by a pure devotee. It is not possible for a common man to write books on bhakti, for his writings will not be effective. Right? So Prabhupada is saying that as soon as we write topics on transcendental literature, it has to be only by a pure devotee. He may be a very great scholar and may be expert in presenting literature in flowery language, but this is not at all helpful in understanding transcendental literature. Even if transcendental literature is written in faulty language, it is acceptable if it is written by a devotee. Right? So this is that verse that Prabhupada quotes in the preface of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tadvag visargo janataga vismo yasmin pratishloka abhadyavatapi namani anantasya yashvankitanicha shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadhava. That even though there may be some faults in the writing, like Prabhupada in the preface of Srimad Bhagavatam, he actually, says that out of his humility, he says that even if there are some faults, I hope that the general people will accept this because a prati shloke prati akshare, every word, every shloka is actually not of this material world. It is a transcendental creation. That is the power, right? So here Prabhupada is saying, but this is not at all helpful in understanding transcendental literature. Even if transcendental literature is written in faulty language, if it is acceptable if it is written by a devotee. Whereas so-called transcendental literature written by a mundane scholar, even if it is a very highly polished literary presentation, cannot be accepted. The secret in a devotee's writing is that when he writes about the pastimes of the Lord helps him. He does not write alone. Right? So we have this story of Srila Prabhupada, where a disciple actually saw Srila Prabhupada reading his own Krishna book, and he walks in and he asks, like, Prabhupada, you have written this book? How many times would you have the author himself like reading his own writing? Right? So he said, you're reading a Krishna book, you yourself wrote it. And what did Prabhupada say? Actually, it was Krishna who wrote it. I was just an instrument. And then he reveals confidentially, I didn't want to come into this material world. But Krishna said, you go, you write these books, I will take care of everything. Right? So even we see all the books that Srila Prabhupada has written, Krishna has personally written through the instrument of Srila Prabhupada. Right? Right. So the secret in a devotee's writing is that the Lord helps him. He does not write alone. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Since a devotee writes in service to the Lord from within gives him so much intelligence that he sits down near the Lord and goes on writing books. So amazing. He's saying the Lord is sitting next to the pure devotee, and the Lord is telling him, dictating, write this, and that's how a pure devotee writes these transcendental literatures. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami confirms that what Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote was actually spoken by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he simply repeated it. The same holds true for Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami wrote Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in his old age in an invalid condition. But it is such a sublime literature that Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur used to say, the time will come when people of the world will learn Bengali to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Right? And we see, ISKCON devotees, maybe they're studying Bengali just to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhakti Saraswati Thakur already predicted this. We are trying to present Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in English and do not know how successful it will be. But if one reads the original Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali, he will relish increasing ecstasy in devotional service. Right? So beautiful. Prabhupada saying, if you just read even the Bengali of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will experience ecstasy in your devotional service. Yes, Prabhu.
So that's a really good comment that is being mentioned here, because it's like what got lost in translation. If you can relish it even more, if you could read Bengali in Bengali and get even more, what got lost? Yeah. And it goes back to the living Bhagavatam, and in addition that there's a culture that surrounds us, that decorates this whole pastime of Lord Chaitanya. It's not just people. There's a lot of the associates. Right. It's like Krishna in Vrindavan. It's the Dham, it's the associates, it's everything that culminates together that gives the ecstatic feelings and emotions. Wonderful. So similarly, the same thing here in Navadvip, Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, excellent point. That it's like, yes, we have the English translation, but it's like the whole culture. And when we read in Bengali, maybe the culture is more revealed to us and becomes more sweeter. And that way we can relish increasing ecstasy in devotional service. Right? So the essence of this purport, Srila Prabhupada is actually saying that when a pure devotee is writing, it is actually Krishna dictating to him, and hence the devotee is actually, whatever he is writing, that is the qualification. The person has to be a devotee of the Lord. Right? Okay. So I will continue, just 2 more verses. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So text 40. Vrindavan dasa pade koti namaskar aiche grantha kari tenho tarila samsar. So we'll recite this in unison. But let me read the translation. I offer millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. No one else could write such a wonderful book for the deliverance of all fallen souls. So please repeat. We can repeat the Bengali together. It's very nice. We can meditate on this verse. It says, millions of obeisances to the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. So today, on his disappearance day, we offer our obeisances. Vrindavan Das Pade Koti Namaskar. ऐचे ग्रंथ करी तेन हो तरीला संसार वृंदावन दास पदे कोटि नमस्कार ऐचे ग्रंथ करी तेन हो तरीला संसार. So tarila samsara, one will be delivered from this samsara just by reading this wonderful book. Chaitanya Bhagavat. Text 41. Narayani Chaitanyara Uchishta Bhajana Tanra Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavana. Narayani eternally eats the remnants of the food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur was born of her womb. Right? So in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's actually a section which talks about this pastime with Narayani. So there is not so much known about the life of Vrindavan Das Thakur. You know, the point that, yeah, it is known that he was born in Kumarahat, that also there's some debate about where he was born. But what is known is that he and his mother Narayani, they were actually living at the house of Srivas Thakur. Right? They were living at the house of Srivas Thakur. And then in one of the pastimes in Chaitanya Bhagavat, it is actually explained that so this is basically, I'll just give a background of where we are in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started this full night kirtans in the house of Srivas Thakur. And once there was because the kirtans used to be loud, and people used to, like the so-called, the atheists or the so-called brahmanas, they used to say, why are they disturbing us? Night is the time to sleep, And they are chanting so loudly, now the king will get angry and then he's going to send people and he's going to kill all of us. Yeah. So they were against this loud kirtan, right? And then there was a rumor, they started this rumor, that the king has already sent the soldiers to come and destroy all the Vaishnavas. And they on purpose spread the rumor so that these devotees, Vaishnavas, would stop doing their night kirtans, right? And then Srivas Thakur, because he was, Chaitanya Bhagavat described, because he was very innocent, he said like, oh, whatever he heard, he was thinking it is true. Right? So he was thinking that, oh yeah, maybe the king's soldiers are going to come. And they're going to come and, harass all the Vaishnavas. So he was thinking in that way. Right? And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing the heart of Srivas Thakur, he comes to the house of Srivas Thakur and he actually shows his Vishnu form. And he says like, actually when he comes, Srivas Thakur is worshipping his deity, his Narsimha deity. And then he actually enters the house and he says, Srivas Thakur, who are you worshipping? Worship me. I am that same Krishna. I am that personality. And then he shows his Vishnu form to Srivas Thakur. And he says, Srivas Thakur, say verses glorifying me. And there's a whole section in this chapter. This is Madhya Leela, 2nd chapter, where Srivas Thakur composes beautiful prayers. And then he quotes prayers from the Brahma's prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, and glorifying that, oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he is Krishna himself. Right? And then, after those prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually says, I have descended and I will actually, spread this Krishna Bhakti to all the Vaishnavas and I will destroy the miscreants. You do not have to fear. So he was assuring Srivas Thakur, don't fear this miscreants. I am personally here, I will destroy all of them. Right? And he said, I'm going to flood all the Vaishnavas with this Krishna Prem. And he actually says, I'm going to give you an example. Right? I'm going to show a live demonstration right now. And then he says, so he says, this is, I will gather the elephants, horses, deer and birds and induce them to chant the name of Krishna and cry. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying to Srivas Thakur. And then further he says, I will induce everyone to chant the name of Krishna and cry, including the king and his subjects. Because there is a fear of this king and the subjects coming to harass Vaishnavas. So he said, I'll induce everyone to chant the holy name. Do not make the slightest doubt. I will show you now before your own eyes. Right? And then the Lord looked at Srivas' niece. So Narayani is the niece of Srivas Thakur. Right? So his brother's daughter. So he says, a small girl named Narayani standing before him. Even today, Narayani is known among Vaishnavas as the recipient of Lord Chaitanya's remnants. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to personally take his remnants and feed it to Narayani. And he said, because of receiving that mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Narayani gave birth to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Right? So the Lord then looked at Shiva's niece, the small girl. Okay. And then Sri Gauranga, the super soul of all living entities, ordered her, Narayani, chant the name of Krishna and cry. And that 4-year-old girl immediately acted like she was mad. She cried, chanted, "Oh Krishna," and forgot herself. Tears flowed from her eyes to the ground, making the area around her wet. Lord Vishwambar smiled and said, "Now have your fears been dispelled?" Right, so he's telling Shiva Thakur. But this episode is there about how, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the live demonstration. He said, 4-year-old girl Narayani, chant the name of Krishna. And she was chanting and immediately into ecstasy. Right? And he said, this is how I'm going to flood the entire world with this Krishna Prema. Shiva Thakur, you do not need to worry. Right? So this verse 41 says, Narayani eternally eats the remnants of the food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vrindavan Das Thakur was born of a womb. And Prabhupada in the purport, he quotes this one verse, which actually says that when Lord Krishna was a child, he was nursed by a woman named Ambika, who had a younger sister named Kilimbika. During the time of Lord Chaitanya's incarnation, the same Kilimbika used to eat the remnants of the food left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This Kilimbika was Narayani. Right? So basically the nurse who used to actually, Ambika's younger sister, Kilimbika, they eternally serve Krishna and accept the remnants of the food. The same Kilimbika has appeared as Narayani, and she is receiving the prasadam from direct remnants from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it is this personality who gave the birth to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Okay.
Mahendra Prabhu has this book, the Transcendental Art of Book Distribution. So everything goes back to the holy name. Absolutely everything. So we need to consider how important it is that we have books and that we have the holy name and take advantage and chant as much as we can. This 16-round thing is good, but we need to learn how to chant incessantly, day and night.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, chant, and immediately she started crying. So we have to aspire for that. Say, Nayanam Kalada Shrudharaya. Right? We sing everything. Thank you all so much. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Radha Golokananda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice class, Prabhu. Thank you.
And we managed without the
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipura Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Ni Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan Keshigata Bamshibata Dwadashakanan Niyadavam Sivata Dwadashakanan Jasabalilo Koilo Shinandananda Srinanda Jashoda Jaya Jaya Gopagan Shridamari Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsagan Jaya Brishabhanu Jaya Kirti da Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Birnagari Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavanamad Vrindavanamad Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakabatu Dvijaraj Krishna Sakabatu Jaya Ramagata Jaya Rohini Nandan Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jaya